I'm now speaking with John Crawford, City Council candidate at large. John, now what will this be, your third term?
I'll be running for my fifth term.
Your fifth, oh excuse me, your fifth term.
Yeah, I was on, let's see, 3 terms. And then the voters thought I was doing such a good job, they gave me a 4-year vacation. And then I got reelected last time. I'm finishing up my 4th term, so I'm running for my 5th term.
All right, now what is it about this process that attracts you to it, the political arena?
Oh, it's just fascinating. All, you know, intellectual challenge, making a difference, getting involved in issues that really do make a difference. In the local sphere, you really do things that do affect people's lives. And in the local sphere, I think our politics is a lot more effective than, say, at the federal level. Federal level, it's so so partisan that they can't get anything done. Whereas at the local level, we will discuss things and argue about things, but we disagree in an agreeable way. We come to a conclusion, we make a decision, move on to the next decision. So I think we get things done at the local level a lot better, and parties don't matter so much. Some issues they do, but locally, a lot of times coalitions form with, a few Democrats, a few Republicans, and things like Harrison Square or smoking ordinances, they don't divide on party lines.
Now let me ask you this now. I do want to stay closely akin to the issues, but I'm going to ask you this. You don't hear much about your being a doctor in this. What is about the area of, let's say, biology that's directly applicable to the political process and millions of people?
The thing that I use probably more than anything else from my training as a doctor is the use of the scientific method. In other words, we're trained data. We want randomized control studies where we actually know if something's making a difference or not. My field is cancer medicine, and there have been many great ideas about things that might be a cure for cancer. We try them, and 90% of the time they're not. But we answer the question, is it good, is it not good, and then we move on and try something else. In politics, a lot of times people just sort of fly on the seat of their pants, and I'm always looking for some data of how some other city did something in a certain way or some program that is working. So I think I'm more trained to assimilate a large amount of information, come to a decision, and move quickly, because in medicine that's what you have to do.
Okay, well, for the past year, Fort Wayne has been sending leaders and scouts and what have you to Iowa and places all over the known universe to find solutions to bring back to Fort Wayne to make Fort Wayne better and greater itself. And it seems as though we never look within and look at our own history of this land here. We totally ignore it. And I would think that if you keep applying outside solutions without using the core, that is like putting a Band-Aid on a cancer.
Somewhat. In other words, we like to get good ideas from other places, but sometimes things that work other places are not going to work here. For example, take an idea like riverfront development. If we proceed with that, then we should go look at 10 cities with riverfronts and with things on, see what worked and what didn't, and then apply it to Fort Wayne. But some things, we do some things unique to Fort Wayne. Like one of the ideas for the riverfront is to incorporate a locomotive that's around here to make it a historical, local attraction, and that may be a popular thing.
Now, in discussing the riverfront, since the age of the glaciers, that's been there, and as always, Fort Wayne in the early years was a swamp area, and from what I found out, you can't really out-engineer Mother Nature. So, at a point around this time of the year, March, April, May, it's going to flood like the devil down there. And how do you account for that?
Basically, the $500,000 study we spent to do the riverfront, they take all that into account. And like the first thing, they're talking about a promenade where people can assemble and have restaurants around. It's set at such a level that the water will not really affect it that much. If it comes up, it will not hurt it or anything. So.
Okay. And let me ask you this then. Other cities use their history, their catastrophes as marketing opportunities. Yet, right here in Fort Wayne Lakeside area, we have the #3 battle ground in American history. And it's a rock over there commemorating it, but we don't really talk about that. Or the fact that more people died in American history fighting over this land called Fort Wayne here than any place else. There's no movie here, but yet the #2 place where the most Americans were killed was Custer's Last Stand, and it's just endless movies written about that. Why haven't we taken the initiative to create a movie about Fort Wayne, and why so many people died fighting over this land here? Because that's the one unique distinction that nobody else has but us.
Unknown. I mean, just why Custer is a more, known legend, and Chief Little Turtle and battle with St. Clair and all those things, I really don't know. But, we would just, it's possible someone could get interested in it. You might get interested. Why don't you do it?
Well, I mean, I don't have quite enough money for it. I mean, that would be, I would think, as you're putting forth all the...
if you get someone that's really interested in it, they'll back you. And some of the problem is a lot of times the young people really aren't as interested in history as I wish they were. They're really not into it.
But that would be the job of the leaders to show them the relevance of that, because otherwise we'll keep spinning in circles and trying to create an identity. Oh, this doesn't work, then we try another one, and we just stay away from the truth as to what our true identity of this land is.
Well, sometimes the millennials, they already have ideas of what they want a place to be. For example, I've recruited doctors for 30 years here to come to my group. And the last 3 doctors I've recruited in the last 2.5 years, one of the first 2 or 3 questions they asked was, what is Fort Wayne's trails system like? And for 27 years before that, nobody ever asked me about trails. So the millennials are very interested in quality of life. They're interested in trails, downtown living. They're very interested in this riverfront development for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because one thing that's a weakness of Fort Wayne, if it's something new, Fort Wayne is usually against it. In other words, if it's a ball field, if it's a smoking ordinance, if it's a new way to organize county government, you start out about 60-40 behind before even people know what it is. But the riverfront development, particularly the young people, they seem very positive toward that. Now, I'm not sure if it's maybe a vessel that you pour whatever you want into it, and riverfront might mean a different thing to me than it does to you, and you put in your vessel what you like. So maybe until it takes a little more form, but right now it's very, very popular with the young people. And, I'm sure, some historical things would be too, like they've had a tremendous response to that locomotive when they've taken it out on trips. People come from far, far away and that's a historical thing.
Well, once you get back in for another term, what are you going to do that you haven't done?
The main reason I'm running for one more term is I would like to see through some things that we've started. I've been on long enough to, you may not remember what downtown looked, 20, 30 years ago, but it wasn't much, and we've changed a lot. And I did vote for Harrison Square, which was a tough vote because it was a lot of money, and we didn't know for sure if it'd be successful, but now people seem to like it. When I voted for it, 65% of people said they didn't like it. Now 80% of people say they do. So I'd like to see how that's going, because downtown's kind of reaching a tipping point where, the Harrison Square spawned some other things. Now the Ash Project will come, and there'll be more people living downtown and working downtown. That'll create some more. And if we could get the riverfront development going, that'd be the next wow thing. So I think all those things kind of fit together, and I think one thing you learn on council is what you did wrong. For example, in Harrison Square, we made a lot of decisions and deals, and some of them were not as good as they could be. For example, I wish I had insisted on a performance bond on the developers of the original building, the Harrison building, because it turned out they didn't have enough financial backing. We ended up getting delayed 4 years on that. So I think if things come up on the riverfront, I will want lines of credit, performance bonds, things like that, to ensure that if we get in business with somebody and they can't go through, then the people will not lose any money by other things. So I think I've learned some things. I think you make decisions. There's something called crystallized intelligence. It's supposed to be the only form of intelligence that gets better as you get older. Older people are often better at making decisions because they've seen so many things and they've made so many decisions. So I think that I maybe have a little more different way of looking at things, and I'm very analytical, and I really don't mind saying no. One of the hardest things on council sometimes is to say no, because people come, they want something, they have an idea, administration, wants this or wants that. But to say no, saying yes is easy. But if you say no, then you have to justify the no. You have to realize you'll be counterattacked by the people who want it, and you have to be able to justify yourself. And I really don't mind that. So I voted against a lot of things that they wanted to spend legacy money on because I didn't think they were, good values. Whereas a lot of people, not everybody, but some people will just go along because it's easier to say yes. But I'm not a go along to get along person.
Okay, well, last thing here. What do you see the identity of Fort Wayne being? How will the downtown development enhance the entire thing, and how will those benefits downtown, those physical benefits downtown, manifest themselves in a psyche of people?
It's all a thing. I guess the easiest way to refer to is quality of place. In other words, like I mentioned, the young people are looking for trails. They're looking for downtown living. They're looking for things that they can do, they don't just ask you anymore, what's the salary, what's the cost of living, what's the house cost. They ask those things, but they're much more interested in how the quality of their life is going to be. And the young professionals that we want to attract to Fort Wayne, the ones with the education and training for the jobs of the future, they often have opportunities in many cities. And if we can get more attractiveness for Fort Wayne, and it is definitely there already, but if we can continue to do that, we'll attract more young professionals, and then if we have the workforce that these companies are looking for that can locate anywhere in the information society age, then they'll often come here. One thing I heard that I like the way, if you think about it, in the short run, people follow jobs, but in the long run, jobs follow people. In other words, if you have the workforce that's educated and professional, and they can do these jobs of the future, sometimes the companies, when they're looking to expand, will come to the place where you have these people. So that's what we're trying to do.
Good luck in your canvassing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching.
That's been.
How do we do time-wise?
Oh, great. Even better than I thought. That was great.
Yeah,